Hello. Okay, we are live. Sweet. I'm just getting set up here to make sure that everything is running when you go onto my channel. Good, it is. Alright, so today is November 9th, 2023. My cat just hissed at each other. I don't know why. They're kind of dorks. Anyway, Chatty stream. Tonight we are working on canvas pencil pouches, getting the exteriors cut. I thought I was done last night. I cut like a bunch of like canvas last night, and then I realized and remembered that this is like, I have to have a piece for both sides. So this is only half of what I actually need. Actually, I think it's like, I think I'm gonna get 13 out of 20 something. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So that's 12. I'll have 13 here. So I guess what we'll do is we're just going to expand it so that we for sure have 16 pouches instead of just like leaving it at 20. I think I have 24 cut right now. Something like that. What I'm making is it'll be paired up with this, like, so I'm going to show this camera here. Basically, it'll be paired up like this with these two, and then so you'll have mostly canvas, but then you'll have a like hint of Japanese fabric on both sides, and then it'll be lined in a lighter twill, actually, because that's what I have available right now, and I don't feel like use what you got, right? So anyway, let's prep this one as well. I am using an X-Acto knife for these right now just because I apparently feel like chaos. Creating some chaos. The pattern is from Noodlehead. It's a free pattern off their blog. And, you know, just go for it. I just realized I was supposed to have a shipment of, like, stuff come in this week. And actually, I thought it was supposed to be here yesterday. I'm going to have to double check on that. Got a shipment of some zippers and thread coming, actually, because we're nearly out of thread. I am trying out a new thread. It was like, I've been using Gutermann for years, but the problem is that it's like tripled in price in the last year alone. And so, actually, in the last 2 years. So I'm going to be trying out a different thread to see if it's worth swapping. It's about half the price. Good reviews so far from what I could see on the website I order from. But yeah, there's supposed to actually be a package in today with it, I thought, but whatever. I'm not out of thread yet. I'm not out of zippers yet. That's part of what I ordered. Yes, I have zipper tape, but in the case of like these like pouches and stuff like that, having a zipper just pre-cut is so much easier, to be honest. Could I have probably ordered them from YKK? Yes, because that's actually where I'm ordering my zipper tape from, and I will next time I order zipper tape. But the thing is that they've got minimum quantities, and it's probably up around the 200 mark, and I just don't want to spend that kind of money right now. So I went to my secondary source that I typically use right now, so that's fine. They're still cheaper than going to Fabricland. And when they're cheaper, that means I can pass the savings on to you, which is the whole goal here for that sort of stuff. And sometimes those savings are just so I don't have to increase my prices. Not necessarily an actual savings. Plus, it's always good to have a few options for actual, like, suppliers, because if one doesn't, like, stop supplying it all of a sudden, or, like, whatever happens, it's good to have backups. So, anyway. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So let's add 2 more of those exterior cuts, because then I can do 26 even super easily. Let's do some Screw it, let's do these hedgehogs, because they've always been super popular. Now these are, my next event is Cochrane Made Here. It is an event in Cochrane, Alberta. It's down at the Cochrane Lions Center, and so that's partly why I'm focusing on, right now I'm focusing on kind of like more everyman makes instead of very like focusing in on stuff that would normally sell at like fiber events, because I want to make sure that I am appealing to my audience base, because that's how you, or at least what my educated guess on what my audience base will be. It's actually what it is. 'Cause I have no clue. I've never done this show before. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Exciting and terrifying at the same time. It always is, honestly, for like, especially for new shows where it's like untested water sort of thing. So. Alright. Now, typically I do take my chalk and mark this out, and actually why I didn't is because I didn't know where it was. Now I know where it is. Mark this out. And then basically we're going to cut. So that amount of bags, I screwed up yesterday because, like I said, I was thinking that it was going to be, for some reason in my head it was one-sided. But you need two pieces, like you only need one piece of canvas, but you need two pieces of canvas per bag. So yeah, so that's why it was a mess. Is because I forgot to count, like double the count. So we'll go through and we will double the count today. It's just 2 cuts of canvas, because I figured out that it was easier and like more fabric efficient to cut them a certain way. I'll show you that when I'm cutting them. And yeah, there we go. So there's the exterior like accent piece cut. All these little like tabbies and stuff like that are going to be going to my friend who is, she makes amigurumi. So she's basically like, I volunteer as tribute to use these in my making for stuff. And I'm like, awesome, because you know what? I am drowning. I have been drowning in those kinds of scraps for years. So all the power to you. Alright, so we need the canvas here. There, I actually just got in my canvas order for the black canvas. I also got some new pocket fabric, which is super exciting. Sorry, I was overzealous in how much I can actually fit on my cutting table right now, because I am in production mode and this is all scrap stuff that doesn't really have a home. So it's like it's just chilling on my desk, because what else is it supposed to do? It's chilling here. That's fine. Is my studio still an absolute certifiable disaster? Not as bad as it has been. So, but my cutting table, on the other hand, is ready to like, is just ready to be done. It's like, when are you gonna tidy me up? I was so clean, and now I am not. It's like, well, we'll get to you when we get to you. Okay, so that is actually squared up on that edge, so I'm going to square this up really tight here. I'm going to leave a little bit because I will square it up better. And basically all I'm going to do is I am just going to cut it. Alright, okay, I'm going to give it like a 1/4 inch extra on this side as well. Just, why not? May as well. So there's that one, and then we're going to do one more cut like that because I need to double the amount that I have for this accent piece. And then after we cut all of these out, we need to go in with the main Japanese fabric and actually cut out a, oh my goodness, that thing, interfacing. That's the thing we need to cut. And then we'll have to adhere it to the actual exterior. So there'll be 26 of these pouches coming with me to Cochrane. And then extra stock will be going onto the website, and I'm also going to be updating or adding stock in at Market Mall at Market Spot as well, especially for the planner pouches that I finished last week. I figure that's a good spot for them, especially for Christmas and holiday gift giving coming up. These are really good things to like add in to help Santa out, or just, you know, as a gift itself. Yeah, because I know we're heading into almost everyone's holiday season. So, all right. So there is the exterior main pieces. Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually flip this and start on this end. And line it up like this. We're going to cut that selvage off because it's quite gnarly. And then we will go through and we will cut the remainders. Okay, we're actually going to line up all these edges. Now, if you are viewing and you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will do the best to answer them. I do work with Japanese fabrics that I hand select in Kyoto and Tokyo. And then most of my, or at least a lot of what I source for exteriors, interiors, all of that actually comes from Canada and the US. A few select pieces do come from China as well. Mostly my hardware at this point comes from China. So, all right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to just basically chalk draw around this piece now. And we're just going to line them right up because that's going to be the most efficient use of our fabric. So we're cutting it down here and around. And then I think tomorrow is going to be a really good push on the basement. The problem I'm having right now is that the kids, obviously I work with the kids around, and they're destructive. You like tidy something up and it is destroyed within 5 to 10 minutes typically. So it's just like fighting that losing battle, and sometimes it's just, you do not have the energy for it, for sure. So I pick and choose my battles. Some days the battle is tidying up, and some days I choose not to fight that and just deal with it. It is getting to the point though where I cannot deal with it anymore. It's like I didn't actually check to see if I had like a clear space to walk through, because I'm gonna try and get these to the point of being able to actually take them to the sewing machine tonight. Just realized that needs to be done. I just realized I don't actually know if it's cleared up enough for me to like walk through with the laptop. I guess we'll find out very rapidly here. And that is actually not lined up very well. Okay, so we're gonna sheave it down here, and then we'll do the other lines. So, there we go. Then we'll go down this way. This chalk pen, so these are from Japan. You can get them in North America, but because I was there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy some of my supplies that it's like hard or expensive to track down. Like, so the airy racing pens that I use, I bought in Japan as well for that reason, because the easiest and cheapest way to access them was actually Amazon for like $12, and I was able to get them in Japan for like 300 yen, which is about $3 to $4 Canadian. So quite a cost savings just from that alone. Not to mention the fabrics. And I did see them the other day actually at my local quilt store. One of them anyway. One of my local quilt stores. And they were $8 a piece. So I'm still feel very vindicated in having supply shopped while I was there, because supplies add up very rapidly. Especially stuff that's like disposable like that, of the airy racing pens and things. So I like these chalk pens because basically this is like a container on the end here, and you can just like screw it off and replace the container. So this whole bit, so this does get thrown away, but this bit is reusable, which I think is really nice. Hi, cat. This is Flynn. He is the orange monster, and he will probably be the quality control inspector tonight. We also have Dahlia, who is a little black cat. She's 9 pounds, soaking wet, if you could get her in water. So they will obviously be joining us tonight. They're probably hiding out from the kids. Our youngest actually just realized kind of that, like, they've known, like, the youngest has known that the cats have been in the house and around, like, their whole lives. But only within the last couple weeks have they really started to, like, try to interact with the cats. And the cats, especially, well, Dahlia just runs away. She is not a, she barely likes Dallas. The kids are still too much for her, but this one doesn't have a lot going on upstairs. And so the kids have been kind of not going after him, but just like realizing and trying to participate with him. And Flynn is still like, I don't know what's going on. Why are you yelling at me? Alright, there you go. If you are curious, yes, he is a special breed. He's a Norwegian forest cat. Norwegian forest cats are basically the granddaddies of Maine Coons. They figure that some sort of like Norwegian ship cat got off a Norwegian ship when it came. And then what they've tracked down is that the Maine Coon is actually descended from a Norwegian forest cat breeding with a local, now extinct cat in Maine. So that's their best guess about where the Maine Coon came from. And they do look very alike. I find that the Maine Coons get a little bit skinnier through their back end as they age. Whereas the Ouija's, from what I can see, don't get quite as rangy in the back end as they age. Alright, so we're going to cut these down first, and then I will cut that last one last, just because it needs a little bit of special care. Obviously there is chalk dust everywhere, but this is the back of the fabric. It's a little bit shinier than the interior that's folded over, so we're not going to worry about it. I'm pretty sure it just brushes off anyway. And I just realized, is there actually enough fabric here for this last one? It looks like it, but you never know. Just barely. Sweet. Alright. Actually, so we're just we'll flip it and transfer this piece as well. Just because then I can go through and cut everything and be done this step. Close the circle on it rather than just being like, I'll do it afterwards. No, just do it now. Just do it. Get it done. Alright. And then across. So I mentioned that I have obviously made here. That's what's on the ticker tape running below me here. These will be going up into the shop in the next week as well, I think. Pretty sure I can get myself to do that. I don't think there's anything else I'm really going to be adding as part of it. And then I will be running a Black Friday through Cyber Monday sale. That sale is also part of my annual, I do a Feed the Kitties sale, which means that for every cat item bought, a can of wet cat food will be donated to my local Humane Society, which here in Cochrane is Cochrane Humane Society. And then this year I am also going to be donating a portion of the profits from every sale to Doctors Without Borders. I've decided that that's who I'm going to donate to. Obviously, this is only a band-aid to the situation, but they are doing a lot of really good work and they will need support, especially in the coming months here. So that's the two that we're going to be donating to. And then there is going to be a good discount off of everything except for pick your own orders. So anything on the website except for the custom orders will also be discounted. So if you see something that I'm making right now, you know, it might be in the shop then as well. Or if you've been eyeing something, just something to be aware of. Alright, so now we need to go through and we need to actually cut all of these. So this is 4 layers. I was using my X-Acto knife, but it looks like the rotary cutter will not shred it as badly. So we're going to behave ourselves and use the rotary cutter because it'll be easier and less shreddy. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we still haven't got, well, we had snow and it has now melted, which is, November's so weird in the Calgary area because it's like some years it's like horrendous and then some years it's like nice and sunny and not -30 on like Remembrance Day weekend. Which it's supposed to be really nice. Dallas is actually doing a run on Sunday and it's like it could be like it could go either way, and this year it's gonna be like looks like +7 and like nice, so we're not gonna complain about it, that's for sure. I have a 23-mile training run on Monday. I am running the Dopey Challenge down at, or I'm attempting to run the Dopey Challenge down at Walt Disney World in January. Dopey Challenge is a 4-race challenge. It's a 5, a 10, a half, and a full marathon, all in 4 days. So that's going to be a challenge. My running joke is that you have to be dopey to do it. That's why they call it the Dopey Challenge. It's something like 48.6 miles in 4 days, which, like, we do regularly at the parks, but we don't do it in this distribution. So it's like a 5 and a 10 at this point are hard won, but they have become easy. I ran my first half marathon in October, and I think given the difficulty of that half marathon, it basically, okay, I ran this half marathon in Fernie, BC, to be fair. And I anticipated elevation change. Also fair. However, I was not anticipating the rain that happened the day before the event. Or the fact that basically it was a trail run. That is not advertised. It is like, yeah, it's a trail run. And any of the distances are trail runs. And if you don't know, or if you do, you do. But if you don't know, trail running is extremely different from road running, which is what I train for and what I race typically is road running. Anyway, this half marathon in Fernie basically sent you up the side of a mountain. I was higher than a helicopter that was training. And yeah, what I was anticipating was the trails that you would use in Canmore, which are like gravel and like paved and roads, and like a good chunk of this race was that, but a better chunk of it was trail. And like because it rained, it was all slick, and there's areas where like there were leaves down, which meant that it was even slicker, and I was not going to be like turning my ankle at this event. As they said at the beginning, it is not a Boston qualifier. No broken ankles, please. And I took that to heart. Anyway, so compared to that, running a half at Disney feels like it's going to be like easy. It's going to be at sea level. The elevation change is going to be minimal. All of that. And then I don't know about the marathon. It's like it's going to be both our first marathons, and we're both just kind of like looking at it like, oh boy. Although I did get some like awesome. Oh, that's a little bit too... I ended up cutting the actual seam allowance off of that one on this side. So we're going to have to... Okay. I need a... We're just going to do a 1/4 inch CS. Okay, this is not good at doing a seam allowance. So that pile needs to be a 1/4 inch, not the other actual seam allowance that's in the pattern. All right. Anyway, yeah. So I've got 23 miles tomorrow and on Monday, because at this point you're just basically beating your body to hell to see if you can do it or not, and like gaining the mental fortitude for it, which I think is going to be the bigger thing. It's also going to be a lot easier to actually do it on the race course versus doing it on a treadmill. Treadmill running is not my cup of tea. Necessary, but I hate it. I should actually set up my YouTube queue or my Netflix queue and figure out what I'm actually going to be watching on Monday, because that helps. At least I can like watch Bridgerton or something like that. That's what I've been doing, is Queen Charlotte. But I don't know. I like the series, but I don't know if it's what I want to watch on Monday. Last run I had was 20 miles. I did 18.8 on the treadmill, and I watched reviews of business class flights, which at least was entertaining, so, and informative. It gave me a good idea of how to like actually get points to be able to do a lot more like with the points. So alright, here is the last one, and then we will go in and we will get the interfacing cut. Also, as a heads up, I will just be online until my husband is done putting the kiddos down to bed. which will probably be between 8 and 8:30. Our eldest has been really tired the last few days, so I think they'll probably be going to bed pretty soon, and then the youngest will go and be a hooligan for a little bit longer than that. Our youngest also has just had way lower sleep needs than like our eldest the whole time that they've been on this planet. It's been nuts. Just the difference. It's insane because they're only 11 months apart. So it's insane seeing the difference between the two of them, like, from day one. It's nuts. Okay. I need my little vacuum. I'll be right back. Going to need a new cutting mat soon. This is actually at Facebook Marketplace find for like $20, which is awesome, but it was well loved and well used before I got it, and it's getting to the point where it's like I'm like watching how it's actually affecting the gutting. I'm like, okay, that is going to need to be replaced soon. Okay, so we'll need to do the lining, and we also need, I have so many copies of this pattern because I kept misplacing the pieces. It's not even funny. It is funny. I don't know why I'm saying it's not funny. It is funny. Okay, so this actually says I don't need an interfacing. This says that I do need an interfacing. But we're not doing an interfacing on the lining because the lining's a little bit heavier canvas. And we do need an interfacing on the exterior because it's connecting, like, these are too light to connect to the canvas without some sort of, like, interfacing. So... okay, not that you really need to know that, but that's just, if you are sewing this pattern yourself, that's why I'm choosing this direction instead of actually following the directions. Follow the directions instead of following Katie's, meanderings, I guess. I don't know. Forewarned. You're forewarned, this is not as the pattern directions. And I feel free kind of saying that because it is a free pattern, so if you do want to get it, you can get it on the Noodlehead website. It's on their blog, I think, actually. I did not come up with this. This is copyright Noodlehead, all of that good stuff. Alright, that should actually help move these out of the way. And we'll stack these like this. Then we need interfacing, which is down here, underneath. Alright. Here we are. So, and then this will set over here because we don't actually need it. Actually, so I'm going to set it back here because we don't need it after this at all until I actually start to sew. And then that piece is to actually cut the lining, which will be the next step after interfacing. So interfacing, lining, adhere the interfacing, then we can go sew. I think we can get through all of that before the kiddos go to bed. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. If we don't, we don't. We'll try our best. That's all we can do. Okay. I don't know why I have that because honestly it's just easier to, what we're going to do is we are going to cheat. We are going to lay out the pieces like this. Like that. Make sure there's no, oh, never mind. Like this. Because we don't want to adhere to the right side. So wrong side to the glue side of the interfacing. Like this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to cut along this line, however many pieces we can get. And then we're going to shove this underneath the, that was a very violent gesture, I'm sorry. But we're going to just shove this underneath the, oh my goodness, under the steam press. That thing. Good Lord. My brain isn't braining right now. Okay. These are cut reversed. So that does feel like it actually fits together a little bit better. And then over here, now this is too wide to actually all go under the press. So what I'm wondering is, do we have room for one more like this? Yeah, so we have room for one more like that. So we're gonna lay it together like this. And that's gonna be the end. So we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these pieces on here. Which means we're always gonna have a little, so 7, we have 26, we have 52. So that means that we need to probably cut 8. Yeah, because that'll be 56 realistically. We'll see. We'll see how many cuts we need. I should probably be heating up the steam press, but the steam press goes on the cutting table right now. So we'll heat it up after we're done laying this out and cutting it out, because whatever. It's chaos. I'm not going to say I operate best in chaos necessarily, but you know, that's what I operate in. Chaos brain, chaos studio. Oh, it works. Whatever works, right? Alright, now we are going to cut this in half right about here, because then we will be able to put these in the press as 2 pieces. Alright, so there's 1 piece. There's 2 pieces, and then we're going to trim down this side. And then what we're going to do to protect the actual like pressing plate of the steam press is I've got pressing claws to go in between. Yeah, no, we got to start the steam press. Damn it. I should have known better. Alright, so I'm going to go off camera here for a moment. Shuffle some stuff around that was supposed to be cut and I didn't get to. Because I'm one person. And I do all of the things for this. So, alright, come here, my pretty. That doesn't mean we gotta unplug the laptop as well. It is actually better on the cutting table because the cutting table is, woo! Sorry. I'm working around the camera plugs and everything right now. So that was just the camera trying to go for a ride here. There we go. Alright. Gotta open up, turn it on. And then I'll double check to see if we need more water. We're close to needing more water. Probably halfway through this. Okay. And then we're gonna slam these underneath, as I mentioned. Well, I'm going to gently transport them under the steam press here. Alright, so the first sheet is not going to fit, but we'll just put the second sheet on and then we'll shuffle the first sheet around. Alright, so 3 fits very nice and comfortably under there. And now we just are going to wait for it to warm up. And that is the side that needs to go down. Now, can you use like parchment paper, and like if you watch people who do like heat transfer vinyl, you've probably seen them use like Teflon sheets and everything like that. 100%, you can totally use that. But the problem with that for me is that I need the steam as well. And so because I was like, oh, I should get some Teflon sheets. But no, it doesn't work because the Teflon will also block the steam, and the steam is part of what actually adheres the glue onto the cotton itself. Because what you're doing with this is like, this is coated with glue dots. And what you're doing is you're melting the glue dots into the actual fabric. So if you block the steam, which is part of that, it's not going to work. That's just the blunt truth of it. It will not work. It 100% works for like vinyl and stuff because you don't want to be, on the flip side, you don't want to be sticking plastic to your heat press. So, excuse me. So I always talk about how like these are all scraps. Again, because I've been drowning in scraps for years, like I said. So I'm just always looking for ways to use them up. And so like this again, is another really cool, like working with the scraps is a really cool way to do another walk down memory lane. And that's basically what this has been. It's like just, it's been so much fun. I love doing these sorts of projects. I love seeing my scrap pile diminish. I don't know how much I've actually diminished it. I should have kept track. I should have taken a photo of like all my scraps beforehand, but I didn't. I'm wondering if it would fit better to do it this way. It doesn't fit better, it doesn't fit worse. If I at least do it this way, then we can snug it up there, and then I can use that piece for bookmarks. So that's what we'll go with. Okay, we're gonna put this piece this way, snug it up there. And we're gonna do, right, because these didn't line up perfectly, so we'll just scoot that anyway. Yeah, and if you've been hanging out with me for a while, you might recognize some of these fabrics from previous shop updates or like shows, and it's like, yes, if you think that you recognized it, you probably do, because I've likely made something out of it, and well, I've definitely made stuff out of all of these fabrics in the past. That's why they're in the scrap bin. I'm just looking at this now though, and I'm going, wait, I should have been like cutting these like, because of course they've got to be mirrored. I should have been cutting them and then just cutting them in half afterwards. So we might try that next time, because I doubt that this will be the last time that I'm making these pouches. This is just kind of like round one, ding, to see if there's any like real interest in them or not. Obviously I get very enthusiastic about certain patterns and products, and that doesn't necessarily always translate to the actual like consumer sphere, because obviously I'm making these to sell. These aren't like high art, fine art. I expect them to be in a museum pieces. No, these pieces are, you buy them to use them sort of pieces. And nothing brings me greater joy than seeing people use my products. So, well, I should probably say that that's a lie, considering that my kids are now born. They bring me a lot of joy. It's a different kind of joy. They're all good different kinds of joy. Let's try and get my foot out of my mouth there. I don't know if it worked. There we go. Alright, so now I said that 3 fit, so I think 4 across might be okay. No, it's literally 3. Okay, so I need to go up right here, and then we will trim down, because the other part of this is it won't fit this way then, so it does have to be trimmed here. Then they can be stacked, and I can do multiple layers that way, but it just won't. Like, this is the width of the actual pressing plate. That's going to be an effective pressing amount. Okay. That's really, oh, I see how I can cut this though. Okay. So I'll cut that off, and that's going to go towards bookmarks. I do have a lot of bookmarks coming to the shop. So what have I been working on? I did work on pick your own orders a little bit. I need to finish up and wrap up on some of them, which is fine. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I did really focus in on getting planner pouches done. So if you have someone in your life that like starts a planner January 1st, these are perfect for them, because they go over the like their elastic band, and so they go over the notebook. They fit an A5 notebook, which is like a typical sized Lecterm or Moleskine journal. That's usually what I see most people buying, and that's what it would be made for. Okay, I'm gonna press this, so if you hear a beep, it's actually the steam press saying, hey, I'm done. So yeah, so I focused in on them, and then I focused in on bookmarks, and then I'm focusing in on these canvas pouches. Obviously, since I have the show next weekend, that's probably the majority of what I'm going to do. That's new. Alright. Okay, so there's that one pressed. And then we'll shuffle. Yeah, the roosters aren't pressed on. And okay, so let's actually just cut this down here. So the sheep aren't on, but these guys are. That isn't. And that really isn't. Okay, yes, because it's too wide. Okay. So let's just cut this down and we're going to throw it in underneath. Ooh, ooh. Oh no. That is not salvageable. Okay. I ended up cutting the fabric there. Okay. I might still have more of that fabric, but we will ignore that for now. Okay. So these pieces need to go in like this. Alright, and then you need to go back over top as well, and you are fine. Alright, so we're going to pop all of these in, like this. It's not going to press everything perfectly the first time. We'll just work through the layers as we go. So a lot of benefits to this versus an iron is the fact that it's like pressure as well as heat that helps it like actually set. Yeah, most of these need to be repressed as well. So, you know. Okay, so that just needs to be done. And then the roosters need to be redone. Okay, the glittery cats are okay. And yeah, I could cut this interfacing down before I press it, but I find myself that it is easier to actually cut it down once the item has actually had its like pressing done. I don't know. It's realistically like pressing interfacing, there's 100 different ways to do it, and as long as it's adhered, there's no wrong way to do it. So as long as you get fusible interfacing fused, you're doing it right. Okay, so that one needs to be redone. That one needs to be redone. Now, granted, this doesn't have to be perfect along these edges because they're going to be sewn in, so it's not like the interfacing is going to like, yeah, but it's still better to have it fused because it just keeps everything from moving a lot. All right. Basically, we just did that. I'm going to flip the sheet around so that I can press the other side as well, because it did not get caught in the like press while we were doing it the first time. Second time, third time's the charm sort of thing. And since we dumped that one, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, so we might actually just have just enough for 2 more rounds, basically. Okay. Now the other part of this is this does actually need a moment to sit and chill. So we're gonna set it flat. And actually I'm going to set this ruler on the edges here and just press it down, because that sometimes helps as well. You can actually do it on the other side with some of the canvas. There. Okay. I'm going to throw these ones underneath again because they didn't adhere on these edges. And so we're just going to throw them in individually, because why not? While we're waiting for that stuff to cool. It's not like we've got other cuts to go underneath yet. We're ready to go. Alright. Sheep, 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 sheep. Where weren't you adhered? Oh, down there. Alright. And in the meantime, it should be good. Yeah, it's cooled down. And we'll go through and we can check the extra layers of this. Okay, so while that's cooling, we can check, make sure that the corners of this are adhered and not adhered to the bottom of stuff like those sheepies. Okay. Good, 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 good. I don't know why it adheres better in the middle, but it's always the corners that I have to check. Alright, well, that's a pretty clear clear indication that that one's well adhered. Yeah, we're good. So again, this is not a normal step in this pattern. This is a free pattern. I'm not giving any secret sauce away. But the pattern does actually call you to interface the lining. But I'm putting a twill lining in. And because I'm putting a cotton, like a quilt cotton against a canvas, that needs to be redone. I want the quilt cotton to have more body because the canvas is like, it's too big a difference between the two layers to not have some interfacing on the quilt cotton. Alright, so that needs to be redone, and it's okay. So Sweet's Party, this edge needs to be redone. That is all good. Okay. So we'll trim this off. Alright, so that actually went pretty good considering that we had like 4 layers in there. That's not a lot to have to re-adhere. So we'll throw these underneath and then we'll cut the interfacing for these guys in a moment. Okay, and here are my pretties. Come on, sheep, 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 sheep. Let's go. Sheep, 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 sheep. There we go. Okay. There we go, and then we'll throw these underneath and press them. Okay, and then we will do these interfacings once that dings. Done. Alrighty. If you see me doing that awkward shuffle, yes, I actually have a chair back here that I need to move. It's like right here, just off camera. Is it in the way? 100%. Do I like having it there when I want to sit down? Also, 100%. So we'll just awkwardly shuffle around it because it's not like I use the steam press every day. I guess it's not like I use the chair every day either, really. But it's more of a pain to move it out than to leave it in here right at this point. Alright, so there's the hedgies that I added. Right here. So what have I been up to recently? The nice thing about not having had like a live stream every night is that we've actually been doing stuff, and I now kind of have stuff to talk about, but I don't know. It all just kind of seems, I don't know. If you've seen the hubbub about Iron Flame, I have not read it yet. I read Fourth Wing a few months ago, which, thank goodness, it was so good. But I have not touched Iron Flame yet. Kind of thinking that might be my thing tomorrow, actually, while I'm working, is to listen to Iron Flame. I think that would be a good Friday afternoon read. And I know as soon as I start it that I'm just going to want to listen to the whole thing. So it's like I kind of have to do it when Dallas is home. Actually, maybe that's what I should do on Monday when I'm running, is listen to the book. Ooh. Normally I listen to music, but it's like, why not listen to an audiobook? That might keep me... It's not like I couldn't switch to music or to like a YouTube video if I want. That might be a better motivator. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. Oh, I'm like one space short for stuff. Okay, this one is not very engaging right now. So we're just gonna finish off with the hedgehogs and yeah. I'm gonna cut the corner on that one. Okay. Would I have done that if Royal Cat didn't need to be booted off? Probably. I'd just have booted 2 instead of 1. And let's just do it. Let's do it. Ah. Damn it. 1 piece. Is there enough here to like piece it? Probably. Is that a pain? 100%. But there is. Let's do it. Usually I don't piece main bag pieces, but this is also just a pouch, so I do not feel that bad about it. There we go. And then there's not much overlap there either. There needs to be a little bit of overlap so that you don't like end up with pieces flip-flopping. It also just helps with adherence. All right. There's the pieces that needed to be re-adhered here. All right, that is definitely a good seal. I'm gonna pop this one in under and do it right away, just so we don't have any shuffling of the layers here. And then we'll trim this up and we'll do this layer next. So, sorry, I'm working off camera because I'm working with the steam press. It's over on my ironing table. Actually, a good point. So because I can never just leave stuff alone, obviously, and because this is still a new space. So we just moved into this house last May, like May 21. So like we've been in here for just over a year. But the thing is that our spaces keep shifting, at least downstairs. So we started with, this was going to be, and if you've heard this story before, I'm sorry. We are on Stream of Consciousness. If you have not heard this story before, you're welcome for this stream of consciousness. Anyway, when we bought the house, the basement was already developed. Obviously, when we bought our old house, we did not develop the basement. We actually developed it later on, which was awesome, because when we bought our old house, we had bought it because there's actually an office space upstairs for my business. Perfect. But I outgrew that space. So when we were buying this house, one of the things is it had to have a studio space. Now, they had developed the basement, but they've developed the basement. I love the walkout, but the thing about it is with the walkouts is the basement space is so much smaller, and I do not understand why. Like, compared to our old place, this basement is like half the size. I'm just like, I don't know. It's so weird, and it's super annoying, because it's like, that's been part of the struggle, is like the business expanded, and this is like, and I'm not complaining. I am so lucky to be able to work from home. It's more just a complaint about like adjusting to a new space, I guess. But it's like, so it's half the space. The business is expanded, and it's actually changed. Had some changes in the last year as well. Of like, I started using leather and stuff like that, and like leather takes up space as well. And granted, there's not a lot of tools that I've needed for it, but you could fill my whole basement with just leatherworking tools. Anyway, I'm stepping off to steam press, and then I'll be back to finish this riveting story. So anyway, so we moved into this space. The space that I'm actually currently in is a bedroom. And so that's what it's set up to do, is be a bedroom. And that's what we intended it to be, was a spare bedroom. But I'll continue in a second. I'm just going to turn this so that we can press the other side of these. Come on out. It's coming. And you need to flippy flip and be pressed again, because your other side needs seal. Anyway, so this was originally the bedroom. The storage for the fabric was here already, because it's the only place to store it away from the cats and kids in the basement. No big deal. If someone wanted to stay in the house, they obviously know I have a business, they're going to be staying with the fabric. And this is why we have this chair in here, is because now I get to use it. So, to continue this long ramble, we set this up. Well, never mind. This was the dump zone for the basement for the longest time, because it's just like, you know how when you move, sometimes you just have to have a space to put stuff, because especially when you're moving into a new space, you don't know where everything's going quite yet. So that's what this bedroom was it was just a dump spot. No big deal. But I tidied it up earlier this summer, and then I went, we're not going to use it as a guest bedroom. We are going to use it as my cutting room. So that was the first big change that we made out in the, so like basically I qualify this as like sewing studio out there with a sewing machine, the computer, the snap presses, paraphernalia, the TV for the kids and for me, all that. Anyway, that's all out in the sewing studio. So when you hear me talk about the sewing studio, that's what I mean. This is now the cutting room. So we changed this into the cutting room. And what we did is from the sewing studio where the cutting table was, we moved the cutting table into this room instead of leaving it as a guest room. All our friends are allergic to cats pretty much. The friends that aren't allergic to cats will want to be home to their cats. We're not going to need a guest room. If we do, we can set a bed up upstairs or something like that, like in the living room, or like clear out the sewing studio and they can stay in there, sort of thing. And my husband also had his office down here originally, but there's a nook upstairs, and so we tidied up the nook and he moved his office up there. Awesome. That was actually the first thing that happened. So we moved the cutting table to the wall where his office was, and that helped a lot. And we moved around like the storage that I have for the bags, because there are a couple of IKEA dressers, blah blah blah, and that really opened it up. And then we moved the cutting table in here because I was just like, nope, it's got to come in here. It'll just streamline everything. And for the majority of the year, I held myself to clear the cutting table off once you're done cutting your fabrics. Now, a little bit of an exception right now, simply because it's like I'm back into production, and scraps, again, don't really have a home. So I need to make them a home. That's part of why I need to use some of them up, is because they have outgrown their space. And these are what I consider usable scraps. They are not like small, like 1 and 2 inch pieces. They're not the little offcuts from like the corners and things like that. So these are like pieces, obviously, I can make this sort of thing out of. Anyway, so yeah, so we made room in there because we've moved the office, and then we moved the cutting table, and then actually just this past, so not this week, but 2 weeks ago, I actually moved my sewing table. So my sewing table for the last year has been, well, it was against the big picture windows originally, but the cats were up and down on it so constantly that they actually ended up wrapping my thread, or they like drew my thread through my sewing machine shaft. And so the sewing machine shaft went, and of course I didn't notice it soon enough, and it ate a bunch of thread. So I've had to go back in and like repair this myself. And I just noticed the other day that I need to do it again here soon, because I did the same goddamn mistake of like having extra bobbin thread down around where it could get caught on the hand wheel, and it's just annoying. Anyway, so for the first little bit, it was against the window. It was glorious. And then when that happened, I was like, okay, so we got to turn the machine so it's against the wall, so the cats aren't just like enticed to like get into on the sewing machine and like pull the thread across everything. And it's worked. But then I was just like, I was looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, and because I've shifted to a laptop instead of a desktop, I was able to get rid of my second desk down here, which is awesome because it opened up that corner, which meant a whole nother reorganization, because in this cutting room, obviously I've got all the calyx stored here, but I was also sharing the closet with my yarn. Now this leads into something. So there's a calyx in the closet that was holding the yarn. So I pulled the yarn out of the closet, and I put all the obi that was in a separate calyx against this wall, over behind this camera right now. This the one that I'm pointing behind. And I was able to put all the obi into the closet and open up this corner. So the calyx that was here holding the obi is actually out there now. I don't know if it's the best spot for it, whatever. But then I also moved my sewing table, because of course my machine is an industrial machine. It's got its own table. It is an absolute beast. So I moved that, and then I also moved my like little sewing desk that I actually use for like, basically it's the pylon one that holds a lot of stuff while active projects basically, and then sometimes not so active projects. I don't know why there's a Jonas box on it right now, full of scraps that I'm not even working with. So I'm like, why is this here? I need to move it. But I have not taken the time to do it. I will eventually, if I do. If I don't sew with it before I do that. Anyway, the studio's in disarray because it's just like it's constantly evolving, and it's going to continue to do that because it's like I'm going to continue to make new products. I'm going to continue to need new like presses or press dies or like supplies. I'm actually switching over to plastic snaps on my needle stashers for very good reason, because I went in and I set snaps on my needle stasher the other day, one of them, and the plastic snaps set so much nicer and firmer than the metal snaps. I prefer using the metal snaps, but they just, because they're open, they just do not set very nicely a lot of the time. I was able to set the snap on a thinner fabric nicely, which is something that's changing with the interfacing I'm using, but I have some old ones that haven't been finished yet that need the snaps. So the plastic snaps are just a better way to go. So it's like adding those into the like stock like of supplies, and just everything's always changing, and that's awesome. I love it. But it's also just like, oh my goodness, where is this gonna go? And there's still a few things to actually do in this sewing studio, in this cutting room as well. So where the steam press is actually sitting right now, I do want to get a small low shelf because I still need storage for canvas and lining bolts, because they will not fit on the calyx comfortably for anyone. Like, I have to step around them constantly. And so they need a little shelf, and I'm just looking at it, and I think that the steam press probably needs a little bit more permanent place to live as well. I did have it up on the calyx behind my sewing machine just after this move happened, and it's not going to work there because realistically all I want to do is exactly what I've just been doing: lay it out on the actual cutting table, and then just shuffle it over to the actual steam press. So I don't know, we'll get there eventually. I want to get to the point where I can actually give like a sewing room tour, but I'm not there yet, and that's fine because, like I said, it's just changed so much. And then it's kind of like, if I'm not working, then my studio's only tidy when I'm not working, and if I'm not working, that's not good as a self-employed person. Or creative seller, I guess, might be the better description. Okay, the stuff that I adhered a few minutes ago should be cooled down enough to just double check how much is adhered, if they need another press or not, and if they don't, then I can turn that press off because I can feel the heat radiating off of it from here. It's not that far away, but like it's just like wafting over my face. Okay. Oh, right, you don't have your other piece yet. There we go. Let me just double check this. Let's see. Are you good? You seem pretty good. Alright. Yeah. Sticky, 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 sticky. Alright, let's see here. So there's the last two sheets. Good, good, good. And that's why you want the pressing cloth, is because then you can just kind of corners are adhered. That can just come off. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, we are. Sweet. Okay, so we'll turn this off. And we'll let it cool down before I lock it down. I'm going to unplug it and plug the laptop back in. It's actually a really good way to remind myself that it's unplugged, because then I don't have to worry about it. I think it has an auto off, but it's always better not to trust the auto off. Because, you know, you don't know if it's going to work. It's a secondhand product. I don't know if it's going to work. Don't want to test it, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure I have heard it like beep when it's turned off. Alright, so this is what I like about this now, is like I haven't had to fiddle and make sure that it's like cut perfectly into the corner before I've actually adhered it to the product. Now I can just go in and actually trim it down from around the product. Because if you didn't know, interfacings do sometimes shrink when you adhere it to the fabric. So yeah, I just find it easier to cut interfacing down after I adhered it to the product. Is there some waste? Yes, there will be some waste. I don't reuse, or I don't cut down an interfacing that has been fused previously. So this little pile will be garbage. also do 2 layers at once? Probably, but honestly, I am finding this very meditative. So we're just gonna tick along here with this. I do need some water though. My throat's like, you haven't done this in a while, so you need to like chill with the talking, lady. Right, there we go. Also even that up just a tick. There's our other hedgehogs. This is some of the OG fabric that I brought back from our first, like, I can't remember if it was our first trip to Japan in March or if it was our first, like, actual buying trip to Japan in November. I'm pretty sure I got some on both trips, to be honest. So how it works, if you haven't heard the story before, and again, if you have, I'm sorry, but I go over to Japan and I actually hand select my fabrics. I previously shopped in Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo, but at this point we are only shopping Kyoto and Osaka, or Kyoto and Tokyo, because the fabric shop in Osaka actually closed, which is like the coolest shop because they actually had like a pneumatic tube system. So fabric shopping in Japan has been different every single time. There's some self-serve options like you would do for like Joann's and Fabricland and most places that I have personally shopped. And then there's places that like you don't touch at all. And then there was the place in Osaka. So the place in Osaka was called Toraya. And it was a pneumatic tube shop. And what you would do is, how I would do it is I would go around and I would select my fabric. And then I'd wave down a salesperson. And the salesperson would go around with you and all the fabrics were hanging in the shop. And so you go around and you point out the fabric that you wanted, and the sales clerk would take a clipping from the back of the fabric and clip it to a sales receipt for you, and then clip it to a sales receipt for them with the amount that you wanted. It was actually carbon paper, so it was just like, so you'd write down 7651B, and that would tell you like what fabric it was and what colorway it was, and then it would say how much you wanted of it, however much it was. And they would fill up these sheets, and then they would actually send them up a pneumatic tube to their cutting floors, and it was such a cool system. I am so sad they're gone. The yarn shop that I actually sell to in Osaka said that she was really sad it was gone because she had been shopping there since she was a child. So I have a feeling it was one of those situations of like when COVID hit and things shut down, they went, okay, this is a good time for us to get out. And really, I can't blame them. It's still sad though. It was such a cool shop, and it was like 3 floors of fabric. So yeah, so that's how we would shop in Osaka. We don't do that anymore. There's not a lot of places in Osaka to shop fabric anymore. When I went in November, I tried one place, but like nowhere was open when I got there. And then, yeah, I did go where I got my supplies was in Osaka. So I think I'll go back there again as well when we go back for our next trip. Whenever that is, we were discussing dates today. And depending on how everything goes, I am hoping that we can go in January 25, but we might lean a little bit more towards like, now we're leaning more towards the fall of 25 because then I'll have a full other show season under my belt, which is excellent revenue wise. And just so like stash is stashed down. The other thing that I find is that if I go in the fall, I'm more capable of getting it actually incorporated for the following show season. Like I just washed, dried, and I haven't even ironed the fabric from May yet. Like the last load is in the washing machine right now. So it's just kind of like almost a waste in some ways. Like I needed that trip in May, but like it would have been better to be going now again, a year later. Anyway, the other thing is that WestJet offers direct flights, but they only offer direct flights from April till October. So it's like, ugh. Flying through Vancouver is fine. We can do it. I sound like such a spoiled princess with it, but it's like, it's so much nicer to just take a direct flight, especially because we will be flying with the kids. I think a direct flight would still be better. So we might lean towards like fall of 25, or we might even lean towards like early 26, depending on how prices pan out over the next couple of years. Obviously, it's not going to be, well, okay, this is all with the giant like asterisks, because I'm not booking anything until after show season next year anyway. It's like the giant asterisks of like, if it's not so busy that we use up the fabric stash next year. So we'll see. I probably got through about 60 to 75% of the fabric that I bought back in November. Again, I haven't touched the stuff from May, so I think we'll be able to go 2 years before we actually end up going again, which is fine. The kids will be a little bit older. They'll get a little bit more out of the trip. It'll be a little bit easier to manage, which will be nice. But yeah, I am daydreaming hard about getting back to Japan right now. So, the other fabric shops that we visit are still around. So we go to Nomura Tailor in Kyoto, and Nomura Tailor House as well. It's like another branch of Nomura Tailor, and I had actually never been there before May, but it is a really nice little shop. It is smaller than Nomura Tailor, but they had like almost completely different fabric, which was impressive. Now with Nomura Tailor, it's another different shopping experience as well. They have all of the fabrics mostly hanging up. They do also have the bolts on the display though too. So sometimes I find that I find stuff in the bolts that I don't find on the wall. Like my eye isn't drawn to it in the same way as it is to the bolts on the floor. Like they're in stands, but like down. So there you'll go around and you'll like decide what you want to get, and then you'll flag down a flag person, and they will actually take your order and pull all the bolts for you, and then they'll bring them up to the cutting table, and then someone at the cutting table actually like takes your order basically and cuts it in front of you. So that's a different system as well. I'm always highly impressed with all the Japanese fabric shops. One of the really cool things is there's a lot of dudes employed in Japanese fabric shops, and like between the November, like last year when I went and this year in May, they were the same people. And then actually I got recognized by the woman cutting my fabric in Nomura Tailor. She's like, "You're the person who had that really long receipt last year." And I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." Which was like so sweet and so cool to like be recognized. I was just like, that is, I had a fangirl moment about her, because I was like, I'm pretty sure she's the woman who cut my fabric in November. And then she recognized me too, because we both had that moment of like, I'm sure I know you sort of thing. Anyway, so that was pretty awesome. So they do that. And then Tokyo is actually completely self-serve. I totally made another like visitor's day when I was there. I think it was May. Because Tokyo, or Tomato, which is where we go in Tokyo, it's in Nippori Fabric Town, and they have carts. They have like little square bins, and like for most people they're a very decent size, and you can like you self-serve, so you fill it up and then you take it up to the cutting table, and it's like the most North American fabric buying experience I have in Japan. But they have 5 floors. We usually shop from 2, so we shop from the 1st and the 4th floor, for fabric at least. If I'm buying notions and stuff like that, then I explore the other floors. They had a really nice sashiko selection when I was there in May, actually, so that we definitely fell down the rabbit hole on that one. And then like there's a bunch of other fabric shops in Nippori, but I find that the best one to just like get done is Tomato there. Excuse me. There's fabric dust a flying. The words, they are there. So yeah, so I did explore a little bit last year when I was there in November, because it was quiet. It was really nice. But there weren't a lot of shops that I would specifically go back for personally. Now, if you have the time, it's definitely worth a day trip, especially if you're into fabrics. But it is a fabric town. It's not like a bunch of other arts and crafts and stuff like that. Obviously, beyond like a few accessories and like sashiko. Sashiko, though, in my brain makes sense, because it's kind of, it is a fabric making tool for the Japanese, so that made sense to me. And there's a little bit of yarn, and there's buttons and stuff like that, but it's definitely more like a textile and apparel sort of or textile apparel shopping street than it is like, you're not going to go there for yarn technically or realistically. I say that just in case you're a knitter watching, because I do know that most of my customers are knitters. But yeah, and I am hatching some plans for hopefully some cool plans here in the future that do revolve around Japan. I know that the next time that I go, I do really want to do some live videos if I'm able to, about like actually fabric shopping live, but I'll see what I can do, because there are issues around copyright. So we gotta test out my mic and see if I can get like enough directionality that I'll be able to do it. So we'll see. All right, I'm just trimming up some of the loose ends on these, because some of them are just kind of like, eh. If I don't sew with the loose ends, then loose ends can't pop out on me when I'm finishing them up. So yeah, and then we'll go do a bunch of touristy stuff next time too. So it'll be like, I want to go do the aquarium with the kids, because the Osaka aquarium, which is the Kaiyukan, is hands down my favorite aquarium ever. It's got whale sharks that are basically rescued from commercial fishing nets. They like rehab them and then send them on their way, which is super cool. Oh, it's already here. And then we'll probably go do like Osaka-jo, which is Osaka Castle, and a few other things as well. The kids will be pretty young, so it's not going to be like a super intense trip. But I'm pretty sure that, yeah, Dallas definitely really wants to come. So it's like, okay, we'll make it work. We're also in that awkward age of like, they're too young in some ways to get, well, it'll still make an impression, but it's like they're too young to like get everything out of Japan that you could as an adult in some ways, but they're also too young to leave with family yet, so they can come. We're just trying to figure out also the cheapest way to do it. I'm just hoping that WestJet ends up actually adding in, like, fly 3 times a week. That sounds perfect. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Awesome. But extend that to year-round. I need to send them some feedback and be like, we need year-round direct flights, please. Although they did pair up with Japan Airlines, flying out of Vancouver this fall for, well, and like January and stuff like that. And they had round-trip flights for like $640, which is like insane. Like $640 round trip. Typically I'm paying about $640 one way. So, I don't know. I think that might be the swing. That's why it's kind of like, well, we're going to watch for like deals on our stuff before we go. Alright, I did let Dallas know to text me when both the kiddos are asleep. No, they're just climbing all over him right now. Alright, we're down to the last pieces here pretty much. Some sheep. So if you just joined me and came into like, why is she rambling so much about Japan? I was an exchange student actually in Japan when I was in university. And when I started trying, like, I was a knitter originally, and I actually was trying to knit for sale, but it's really hard to make any money knitting for sale. It's really hard to make money as a creative woman with a lot of stuff, but the production time on sewing is significantly lower. So what I did is I pivoted and I started making bags for knitters, because at that time project bags were there were some well-known people out of the States that actually are still around as well. But in Alberta, there's only 3 or 4 of us, maybe, max. Within about 2 years of me actually making bags, there was 7 to 8 or more project bag makers. And so I had to figure out something that would actually make me and my bags unique. And so the first thing I thought of is like, okay, cute cat fabrics. I'm a cat lover. Lots of knitters are cat lovers. Like, this is a good way to niche down. So I went, okay, where's some cute cat fabrics? And they're like Ruby Star, Cotton and Steel. They make some cute cat fabrics, but they're expensive to access unless you're buying in wholesale. So I went, okay, what can I lean into? And I went, I bet you Japan has cute cat fabrics. And guess what? Japan has cute cat fabrics. So cute. So I went, okay, let's start importing these. Like, how can I access cute cat fabrics from Japan? And of course, Etsy was the best option at that time. So I started importing through Etsy. I probably imported for about a year and a half before we went on our first trip to Japan. Went on our first trip to Japan, and because I was already making the project bags and I was already buying Japanese fabrics, I went, hey, let's look at the cost of actually how much it costs to buy fabric in Japan. We did. Significantly cheaper. Like, just dollar wise, just to look at it in the store, it was significantly cheaper. And then even once you factor in like flights and hotel and food and everything that like a buying trip requires for fabric, it turned out to be about 40% cheaper per meter. It's a significant savings to just go over and buy it myself. It also has a lot of benefits personally, because it's like, it's the same as why I know lots of people don't like buying bags online, especially as a knitter and a crocheter, is because of the tactility of the fabric. So you can't feel it and you can't see it. And so part of what I knew would happen is, it's like I was buying to the tastes of the person that was purchasing it as well. They were doing their best to figure out what their customers wanted too, right? That's what they're there for. But that was the big benefit. The other big benefit is, it's like I can go and feel the fabrics. Like in May, there were a bunch of cute fabrics that I rejected because they were too light for my needs. And if I had been purchasing them online, I would have just been purchasing them off of a photo, and I wouldn't have had any samples to feel, of course. So I would have gotten it, and like I could have made it work, like 100%. But I would have been disappointed. And so going and actually feeling and seeing myself what's available, I'm not at the whims of what someone's gone and thought was cute that week and bought. Has been like a really big benefit as well. And as I've learned like what everyone wants as a customer, I've been able to also kind of like streamline that process even more than the first few times that I went for fabric as well. Because here's the thing, I'm not working in 15 meter bolts, because that's just too much fabric. I would get bored, you would get bored, everyone would get bored, the babies would cry, the cats would cry, I would cry. So we're working in like, typically the max amount that I buy is about 6 meters, and that is only when I'm working with club fabrics that we anticipate are going to be quite popular. Otherwise, I'm working in 2 to 3 meter quantities. This one could have used a bit more interfacing. Alright, I'll just trim it down. Actually, that could be paired up with those ones that need to be a 1/4 inch seam allowance. That would work. Alright, we are almost done the interfacing cuts here around the exteriors. The next step that we're going to do is we are going to cut the lining fabric, because we're not done prepping yet. And in case you're wondering, Katie, why are you doing so many? It's because I don't want to have to do this again for a while. That's part of it. Part of it is I batch make. So it's like, there is no point in me switching tasks right now. And I try to like batch make as much as I possibly can and humanly can, because then I sit down and I do this. So that took me however long it took me, instead of doing piecemeal, which takes more time. All right, what I do need to find is I need to find the twill. I think it's on the other side. I think it's fallen down on the other side. Just a second. And we'll move the current canvas out of the way. It's like buried. Okay. Alright, we're not going to go back there again for a while, because it is chaos as well. Okay. so this is the lining. Yes, it's black lining, but it's too light of canvas to actually use for a lot of stuff that I had purchased it for. Again, this is another problem with like not having had samples before I bought. But it will make amazing lining for these bags. So that's where we're at. And that's what we're using it for. Now, so this is actually why we ended up developing the basement. I ordered canvas. I was expecting canvas to come folded. It did not come folded. It came in these giant rolls. And actually I don't have room for it right now, even on my giant cutting table. By the way, this is actually a countertop. It was a really cheap way for me to get a large cutting table. Okay, a cheaper way for me to get a large cutting table. And it actually worked really well because then I bought it on Black Friday sale from like Lowe's. I'm like, I'll take it. And then I actually put it on IKEA legs for the longest time, but the IKEA legs actually started to bend. So Dallas did build me a base for it just before we moved, actually. So just before, or was that together for like a year? No, it would have been just before, because it started to bow just after I had our second child, I think, the youngest. Okay, let's see. I think I can make this work as long as I move that out of the way. Nope, that's not going to work, but we'll make it work anyway. And I think this needs, yeah, you can tell that I've worked with this before in non-optimal conditions. There we go. Okay, so this needs to be placed on the fold, and we need 2 of them. Alright. There. More room. So what we're going to do basically is I'm going to make the fold, because obviously it's in a roll, it's not folded. Still so annoyed with that company. I don't actually buy from them anymore. A, they don't have my fabric that I need anymore. B, they did this. And C, actually, they sent, so I ordered 3 canvas colors. Then they're actually the canvas colors that I used originally for the Kato. Anyway, I ordered 3 canvas colors, and they sent the canvas colors folded over each other. So like, natural was at the center of the roll, and then freaking black and gray were on top of the natural, and it's just like, that didn't even, ugh. Furious, because like, how is that even useful? Also, if you had asked me if I would pay more to have it shipped folded versus rolled, I would have said send it to me folded, because that's just how my work surface is set up. Okay, I'm actually going to move this camera back a little bit and down a little bit, because then I have more room on my cutting table. And when I say that camera, I mean the big camera. The large view camera. There we go. That's what I mean. Come down here, my pretties. This way. I think you actually might have a better view down here in some ways. Yeah, not really. Maybe if I turn you up. There we go. Hi. Okay, so we need these. And that needs to go over there. And then this can scoot over here. And this can scoot there. And we can scoot that there. And then there we go. Okay, it's still not perfect, but it is better. Like, does this roll even fit on this freaking table? Barely. So that means it's over a 6-foot roll. Like, ugh. This is what I mean when I say it's annoying to find solutions for stuff. For big business, you'll see massive production areas. And you'll see itty bitty production areas, like how to fit your sewing studio into a closet. And that's awesome. That is the majority of what people have for space. So we need those solutions. I need more you have a basement to set up in. Here's some storage solutions. I need companies to also assume that just because I'm buying wholesale doesn't mean that I have an 8-foot table to cut on. Ah! Moan, moan, moan. Complain, complain. Thank you for listening. These are small pet peeves in the grand scheme of things. It is annoying, but it is a pet peeve. Whatever. We'll deal with it. I gotta straighten out this fabric though. It is not going to deal with this situation very well if I don't straighten it out. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. I think that's better. And then I think we can still cut lining from this end. Not quite. Okay. We're gonna pull it down enough that we're able to cut lining all the way across from this, and it's squared up. Hopefully. Maybe. We'll see. There. There. Does that work? Why is it so crooked? Yes. Okay, so we can cut the lining from there. Alright, so we need to... It's not actually square on the edges. That's the problem. There we go. Okay, now it's squared up on this edge. Okay. Now we're going to pull this down. So what I can feel here is I can actually feel the edge of the cutting mat. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually line up the deepest edge of this fabric, which is right there, with the straight edge. And then we're going to square up the straight edge, or square up the edge right there with the line marker. And then that looks like it's pretty damn square all the way across here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take our scissors and we're going to run it along that cut edge. Now this is not scientific, it's not proven. This is just what's going to work for me right now for this fabric. It's not even necessarily going to work for me in 2 weeks. Just tonight. Oh my goodness. Come on, Shears, you can do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Come on. You got it. Shifting a little bit, but it's still going to be a lot straighter than it was. And actually, we can just cut that off anyway. Eek. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Good enough. All right, now we have 26 bags that we need lining for, which means that we need 50. Oh, actually, it's down to 25 because we messed up Royal Cats. Yay. But that means that we're going to end up doing, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, hey, 13 as well. Okay, so 13, which means we're going to do 4 cuts because it'll be 52. So even though we only need 51, no, we need 50 pieces of lining, that's still just going to be easier to cut. Okay, so these are all cut on the fold. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to fold it the other direction because for some reason these canvases have a shinier side. And basically what I want to do is I want to make sure that the chalk I'm using is on the shiny side so that it doesn't end up showing up on this black fabric because it's a very black fabric. And there we go. Okay, so, and yes, I have yellow chalk too, but I would have the same problem with the yellow chalk, so we're just going to use the white chalk because it is what is handy. And we're also going to grab some weights. If you're a sewist or a beginning sewist and you want to know the cheapest way to get weights, pattern weights, go to your hardware store. These are washers. I have 2 different sizes because then like it's easier to actually set them on certain pieces of like pattern sometimes. But honestly, I mostly use the large ones anyway. So, all right. So this is the lining piece. We'll just and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna line them up straight across and just trim up based on this one. So there's that one. We'll shift this up so that it's squared up top and here, or at least within reason. Obviously this is all by hand, so as perfect as you can get it. But that way, that saves us a cut by having these two pieces lined up. Go. So we got 1, 2. Okay. 3. And actually, Taylor's chalk would be better for this than this chalk pens. Let me go grab that. So typically I really do like the chalk pen better, but since we don't have any like, there's no big curves or anything on this, the Taylor's chalk is actually going to work just as well, if not better. It's also a little bit cheaper and easier to access for me because I can get it from my supplier in Calgary. Alright, there we go. Zip, zip, and then, and it's just going to be faster as part of it because it's like, I'm going to have to keep going back and forth with the chalk pen. Must be like, I don't know, maybe it's a bit softer. Just this is what it's made to do. I do find that it doesn't work for a lot of stuff though, so it's just like the chalk pen does work in certain situations better. But it also, like, that is a lot cleaner line than this, having to go back and forth constantly with a pen. So, alright, we're gonna do this one, and then I am gonna actually do a cut. Yeah, we'll actually cut these out. Actually, we'll do one more so that we've got 3 full sets. Excuse me. And then I just don't have to have this tail here. It'll just be more manageable to work with. And then what we'll do is we'll roll out the amount that we need, fold it back for the next cuts. And then we'll just cut 3 more versions of that, and then we'll, I don't know, and then we'll cut all 3 at the same time. That, don't know yet. I need a ruler. So I can just use my rotary cutter, and so that these are straighter cuts. All right, on to the cutting table with you, so that there you go. All right. This, and then yeah, so that'll just be able to be more manageable. And yes, there is a lot of excess fabric here, but that is because we also straightened out the fabric so that we hopefully don't have quite the extreme waver in it like we did this time. Apparently I thought that I cut it straighter than I actually did last time. I hate doing that, but oh well. It is what it is. I obviously can't put it back together because that's not how it works with fabric. It's like carpentry. It's like measure twice, cut once. Alright. I'm going to leave the camera there looking at my elbow for the next few minutes. Just so we can actually like get the roll back on the table and get it trimmed up afterwards. Okay, so we're gonna trim down the selvage on this guy because it's pretty gnarly. It's got a lot of like fluff, and it's also got a very obvious like selvage line. This canvas does seem to fray a lot, but you know, we'll get it cleaned up. Okay. So yeah, so like pieces like that I can't really use myself simply because it's heavier than a lot of the stuff that I use, so I'm probably going to end up like, normally that is something that I would hold on to and make something out of, but I think in this case it's going to end up going to my friend who stuffs her amigurumi with scraps, or will. She's volunteered to take my scraps. anyone else wants scraps, I'm pretty sure there are more than she signed up for. And I am happy to ship for the cost of shipping, basically. Just pay me shipping and I will ship you scraps. This is stuff that's like threads and polyester, like interfacing and stuff like this, where it's like you probably could use it for something, but I personally can't use it for anything. There's nothing too, it's stuffing, that's what it is. It's nothing too large usually, so, except for these pieces apparently. Oops, that is not scrap. Okay, so we got 3 here. And if you're watching and you have any specific questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer. Or I can continue to ramble, whichever everyone prefers, because that's just kind of how this goes. I should start calling them stream of consciousnesses, because that's actually what this is. I do not have a script. I just know what I'm working on. And stories that I can tell, because that's always fun. So we are going to be a rebel and cut these last 2 out. No, we are not, because they are not well enough aligned to do that. Okay, that's why, because that is the edge. I bet you if I put them back together now, they would line up, or at least line up well enough. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Now I can trim them both down at the same time. Go. Trim that. Alright, and now that is a grand total of linings for 3 bags done. Oh no. 2, 4, 6. Yep. Alright, let's unfold this. And we'll get the next set done. Actually, I wonder if I could like fold this in half again. I think I probably can. Yep, there we go. Let's do that. There we go. So we'll end up cutting out like 8 bags worth at a time instead of half. Okay, there we go. Then the tailor's chalk. Make sure that that is really on the fold. Go. And we'll just go shoop. And then we'll go up here. And then we'll go here and here and here. Down along that edge. There we go. Okay. And we'll shuffle this direction. Also, if you're new here and you do want to come back and join me for the Stream of Consciousness streams, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Or if you don't want to be like on the YouTube as much, I do also have a newsletter, which is actually linked on my website, is the easiest way to find it. Go to atelierneikazuki.com and then search links, and that will take you to all the links for like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And the newsletter as well. And the newsletter is where you're going to find out, like, that's who's going to find out the fastest what the discounts are for Black Friday and, like, how much I will be donating to Doctors Without Borders. And the Feed the Kitty sales is the same every year. So if you haven't heard what I do there, what I do is for Black Friday every year, we do a Feed the Kitties sale. So for every cat item purchased from my shop, I will donate a can of wet cat food to my local Humane Society, which is Cochrane Humane. And then this year, we will be adding in Doctors Without Borders. And I will also be offering a sale, just because I'm like, you guys have been so amazing this year, that everyone deserves to be able to get a bag. So I know it has been tough. It's been tough for us as well, and it's just, a show of appreciation on top of everything else, because why not? We can do that. Alright, I'm going to line that up because now I don't have to like trace it one more time. Is my rotary cutter going to protest? 100%. That's okay. It can whine and complain all at once. But yeah, so the newsletter is the best way to find out about all that stuff. If you're not already subscribed. If you are, thank you so much. Alright, here we go. There. And I think that is an odd number of cuts, but we will find out in a minute, I guess. I should get my, actually. That's what this itty bitty guy is for. There we go. Or actually my X-Acto knife is what that's for. Like, where did it go? It was like here when we, just a few minutes ago. Although I think I do, what I should do is I should swap out the blade on that probably. Alright, so there's 3 more, so that's 1.5 bags, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, because it's going to be 13. Okay, that's right. Right? Yeah, that's right. Actually, I need to change out this rotary blade too. The one drawback to this current cutting mat is it is not self-healing, so it just like eats rotary blades for breakfast pretty much. Just find a self-healing, like, well, I guess if you factor in the actual cost of rotary blades, I was gonna be like, a self-healing mat of this size is so expensive though, but it's like the amount that you would end up spending on blades probably outweighs the initial investment of a self-healing one too. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we replace it eventually. Oh, the dates for the Black Friday sale as well. The Black Friday sale will be on Black Friday. I am not doing discounts and stuff before Black Friday. I personally am really, like, I am getting bombarded by Black Friday sale emails already, and I'm like, guys, it is not Black Friday. Stop emailing me. It's not gonna make me buy any faster. I know that part of this was the whole, like, shipping delays and everything like that, but it's like, I can't do it. Yeah, I can't bring myself to do it. I'm like, there's enough emails in my inbox. I'm like, if you want to call it a sale, go for it. Call it a sale, whatever. Pre-Black Friday sale, but they're like calling it, it's like early back, well, I guess they are basically. They're saying it's early Black Friday, but it's like, I don't know. It annoys me. That's my personal soapbox. It annoys me. Advertising Black Friday sales already. Ugh. Alright. There's those guys. So that was 13. Right? And we need 52. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you're knitting right now, sorry. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Yeah, so we're a quarter of the way through. We need 52. Yeah, like, what do I do with these now? I guess I could actually line some of the bookmarks with them, but like it's, which I mean, I guess means that you wouldn't need to interface part of it. I guess we'll see. It's just, it's a lot of fabric waste otherwise, so. Alright. Now, what we're gonna do, since this should be straight or mostly straight, straighter. Get out of here. Okay, there we go. It's like, I got these massive shelves. They're not super useful for like just setting stuff aside. I need like, I don't know what I need. Why is there a sticker on here? What the heck? Why is that on there? I don't get it. It's like a silver sticker. I swear, I already wasn't buying from this company again, But like the more I work with the stuff I bought from them, the more I'm not going to be buying from them anymore. Like it wasn't a question before, but now it's just like it's solidified the decision fully. I actually am purchasing from a company out of Montreal right now, which has been working really well. So, on the recommendation of Mishnok, actually, who is a bag maker out of, I think she's officially in Ontario. She's in rural Ontario, and she works with Harris Tweed, which is super cool. So, we had a good dinner and swapped suggestions, and so she gave me the name of a supplier in Montreal. I should make a trip out to Montreal eventually and Toronto for like the Canadian district, just for the exact same reason of like making sure or checking out the quality of some stuff and like samples and things like that without having to get a bunch of stuff mailed to me. Alright, so this is not completely square, but it is squarer. There, I think that'll help square it up on that end. Now, it's good to have a little bit of extra for the cutting, just because, oh yeah, that makes sense that it's a little bit longer on this end, because it wouldn't have been quite as consistent. And it's a little bit less on this end. Anyway, having a little bit of wiggle room is nice, because then you end up being able to, like, it's just nice. Whatever. You don't really need to know. I don't need to ramble quite that much. Okay, we're going to square it up to the board, though. We're going to square it up to the... Yeah, there we go. And, sorry. The weights there are now there to hold it, so that hopefully I can actually make it decently square. We will make another attempt here. It's definitely better than it was, so that's good. And yeah, those are holding it, so that's not going to warble quite as much. Okay, so there's one more cut. I'm debating. The rotary cut I did fine with the 3, so I think we're just going to cut 2 more, and then we'll just sort out cutting the interiors. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Okay, 1 set. Let's do the second and third sets, and then we're done the initial cut, and then we just need to do, and then I can sit down to do the rest of it. Not like, I don't know, not like I need to sit down, but it'll be nice. It'll be a little bit more conversational. Do need more water again. Shuffle it up here. Square it up as best as I can. Measure it out. That is, we don't need that much. Okay. That's better. No. Okay. So, let's take what we want, and then we're going to take this, and we're going to shove it up. There we go. Sometimes that just, it does work better sometimes that way. Sweet, I think that's squared up the edges really nice as well. Do we have enough here? We have enough here. Yay! Do we have enough here? We have more than enough here, but that's okay because it's not completely square on that end. That's fine. Do we have enough in the middle? More than enough in the middle. We're gonna weight down this end again. And then we're just gonna cut along the line that I can see, that I'm making up in my head that I can see. Pretty damn close. Okay, there's that one done. That's 2 out of the 3 more we need, so we need 1 more. Alright, 1 more, 1 more, 1 more. Ugh, there's too many moving pieces. And yes, you can say, Katie, it would be better if you cleared the cutting table off. And yes, it would be. Flat out, it would be. Am I going to? No, that's not what we're here to do tonight. We are here to cut bags and make bags, hopefully. I don't think the kids are in bed yet, so I think we are going to be able to cut these, at least. We're at least going to be able to finish cutting these. And then we'll see if we can get to the sewing machine tonight or not. If not, I will be at the sewing machine tomorrow. And I most likely will be live streaming that one, because why not? Okay. That is actually the straightest that this line has been since I tried to start straightening it. That's dumb. Oh well, sometimes eyeballing it is just the way to go. It's ridiculous. I don't think that it is going to work this time, but we'll see. There's definitely enough fabric on this end. Yeah, just right. And, oh, yeah, no, we're good. Okay, sweet. Right down this end again. The ruler can go there because I'm not technically using it for this right now. We did it. We have cut all of the linings. This roll is so ridiculous. It's all floopy too, which is not helping the whole so ridiculous. Okay. Stop complaining about it. We know. That's dumb. Okay, there we go. Now, we'll put the camera back up so you can actually see this nicer. We've done those pieces, so it's not a big deal. They can just go over there with the exteriors. We'll shuffle the camera back up on the table so that I can have my chair back. And then we'll bring the chair back. Hello. Okay, so we are going to now flip this outside. So I don't know if this will show up on camera. We'll see if it shows up on my end. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's got like a shine on this side. And like it doesn't have much shine on this side. So this is typically the side that I put to the exterior. So one of the first things we have to do is we just have to open it up and flip it. Because it's just like, why not add an extra step? Anyway, and then we'll square up the ends. And then we're going to actually just fold this one right in half and work with 2 layers at once, just for efficiency's sake. I like how I was like, yeah, the cutting the like interfacing is meditative, which it is. This is not meditative. I want this part done. I want that. Yeah, it's the last step. I want it to work nicely. It's still got to be done well, but I'm over it at this point. I just want to go sew. Again, yes, you can laugh at me and be like, why are you making so many at once? And it's like, well, I like to make as many as I physically, mentally can, because it's like, then on launch of the product, you've got lots of options. Because obviously we all like being able to choose. I should fold it the other way because it's shorter on the other side and then I can see it. Yeah, but like, I like having my options. I like having as many options as I can. So it's like, I want to be able to give all of you as many options as I can as well. That's my story. That's why I make as much as I do before I launch a product. Is it going to be successful? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Sometimes it's just better to wing it. Okay, great. Pattern weights. I don't think I need as many as I had last time, but that's okay. There we go. Let's even that up. And then chalk. We'll go down here. Because that's that gnarly selvage edge. We don't want the gnarly selvage edge involved in these bags. We just want it like that. And then we're going to scoot down here. And then butt it up against that line and pull it down from the fold. Then we're going to do this like that, like this. Excuse me. Obviously I had been fairly practiced about talking on camera, and now it's like, oh god, you're out of practice again. It's been almost a month. Well, okay, it hasn't been a month. It's been 2 weeks since I did a live stream. Not even. Last live stream was October 30th. But I do not have the same vocal cords I had pre-COVID. Had a lot more practice at that point talking. Oh yeah, so speaking also of pre-COVID, I don't know why this reminded me of it, but my first show of 2024, I think it's partly because this was my last show of 2020. It was January 2020. And like I kind of knew it was my last show anyway because I was going to get very pregnant very rapidly before anything else. But my last show of the year was, or last show pre-shutdowns, was Creekside Yarn Festival in Airdrie. And actually I will be back at Creekside Yarn Festival in Airdrie this year. January 21st, 2024. That was my first show of 2024. So the rest of the winter, or the rest of this year looks like I've got the Cochrane made here. And that is November 18th and 19th down at the Cochrane Lions Center. I don't remember the hours. It's an all-day event. I'm pretty sure it's like 10 to 4 or 10 to 5 or something like that. And then I have a couple pop-ups with, if you can't make it to that, I've got, and sorry, the Cochrane Made here is free admission as far as I know. I haven't seen an admission cost. I did not pay admission when I went last time, so that's nice. And it's going to have a bunch of different artisans. And then I will be at Coldwell Banker downtown Cochrane December 2nd and December 16th. And that'll be, I think, 10 to 5 with Kaylee Young. She's a realtor in town, and she offered up some pop-up spaces for like Christmas, which is super amazing of her. And I really appreciate that. So we're going to be doing that as well on the 2nd and the 16th. So the 16th obviously being like very last minute local shopping. If you're in the Calgary or Cochrane area, can't make it to anything or want to guarantee that you can get something and want to pick it up, I am happy to arrange pickup or drop off as well. So there is that as well. Because realistically I work from home. I'm home pretty much all the time. Except for very specific hours when I'm not. But I will be out and about in person this winter as well. Typically Knit City is my last show of the year, but I did want to add a couple more. And then we're going to be starting off 2024 with a bang, which will be awesome. Creekside Yarn Festival is always really well done. I really appreciate the amount of effort that those ladies put in. So, and then next year so far, I don't have anything confirmed obviously, but Knit City will be in Calgary August 16th through 18th weekend. And then I am going to be throwing my applications in for Dawson Creek at the end of April 2024, in part because Dallas actually has family friends up there, so that'll be good. And because I know it sounds a little bit random, but that's one of them. I'm also going to put my application in for Oda Fest, which is Calgary's anime festival in May. And then hopefully I will be able to also go back to Omatsuri, which was an awesome event, and some of the other NJCA events as well, because they were very well organized and very welcoming. That was one of the really cool things about them this past year. So I'm really sad because I actually ended up double booking myself for this Cochrane Made here on the same weekend as the NJCA. They're like Fall Bazaar, and I'm like, no, I wanted to do that one so bad, because they have been so welcoming and like awesome. But oh well, that was my mistake. Alright, nothing like the old classic double booking of yourself though. So yeah, that's how things are shaping up so far. Obviously, I don't know if I will get into Oda Fest. I don't know if I'll get into Dawson either. But, you know, those are kind of that is the tentative planning right now. And you can also find my bags at Bad Anna's in the Lower Mainland, as well as Bad Rabbit. And Ancient Arts Yarns in Calgary at their dye studio and yarn shop, as well as Market Spot in Market Mall. So there's a few different options, and those prints are not prints that are going to be online for like 99% of them. There's a few that I got to keep a little bit of fabric of, but not much. So and some of these new products will be making their way to Market Spot here after excuse me, after Handmade here as well. Alright, apparently I need to give my vocal cords a rest. But if you do have questions, please throw them in the chat. I'll be very glad when I am done cutting this canvas. I just looked at the time. I'm like, I didn't realize I'd been on for 2 hours already. That would explain the vocal cords being angry, and I really cannot blame them. Alright, some water. And then we'll have 2 more to cut, and then we will be almost ready to sew. I just realized I'll have to match all the zippers. That was the pause of like, oh right, it's zippers. I should actually double check to see when my shipment is supposed to come in. Got a bunch of like Christmas stuff coming in, and so I told Dallas, I'm like, yeah, if you see parcels come in right now, you don't see who they're coming from right now. Just know there's parcels coming in, because he had to do some training, so he's sitting up by the front door, but I didn't know what was going to come in, or if anything was going to come in. What did come in came in the mail, so that was good at least. So I wasn't able to peek on it. So there we go. Here, like this. And that. There we go. Alright. No, come here. You need to be trimmed down. Fabric fluff everywhere. Okay, I wonder if I probably can do those. Oh, yeah, we 100% can do them. So what I'm going to do... Yeah, okay. So we'll fold these ones shiny side out as well, like this. My debate there was if I could do like both of these at once. So I think what we're gonna do, just do half of it at a time. I was like, I'll do 2 at a time, like the other set as well, but no, we'll just do exactly what we just did with the other one. Take it and fold it in half, and then trim down the last piece afterwards. There we go. Maybe? Does that work? Ugh. Yes, I think. Line up the fold. Line up the fold! Yeah, because there's more than enough fabric there. More than enough there. There. Success. Sweet. Okay. Can we do 4? Can we do 4? That's the next question. I think we can do 4. I believe in us. Let's do 4. Place on the fold. Is the fold correct? Fold, 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 fold. Yes, those all are correct. This is nuts, probably. Oh well. I will definitely need to change my rotary blade after this. If you're watching me later on in this week, you are 100% given permission and encouraged to ask if I've changed my rotary blade. There, good. Okay, let's do this. What am I doing? Chalk it first. I'm like, how am I gonna set my ruler down? You're not. You're not. You're gonna chalk it, and then you'll set your ruler down and trim it. I swear. Can I blame the kids? I think I'm gonna blame the kids until well into adulthood. That's right? The mom brain. First pregnancy brain, then mom brain. Okay, the only thing now I'm wondering is if that will actually give me enough up here, or if I'm gonna waste fabric. I guess we'll find out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not gonna get the 13th cut if I do it this way. So I'll waste a half cut doing it this way. Yeah, that's not worth it. Okay. But I do have half of it transcribed at this point. So what we'll do is we'll work from this. Actually, we'll flip it and work from this end, because then it's just cut. It's not a big deal. There we go. And then if it, like, you don't end up, it's just easier for me to compute any lines instead of it being like draw overs and stuff like that. Okay, well, we tried. It was worth a try. Shimmy that one there. Down. Angle. In. Down. And across. Make that one a bit straighter. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna shuffle this up here and then butt it up against here and against the fold. And we're going to trace. Trace, 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 trace. Actually, I wonder if the vacuum would work on getting, like, sucking up the lines off of the other ones. I think chalk lines mostly just like brush off, but I don't actually know. Which is part of why we're putting them on the interior. Because it's like, they will flake off, but I still don't want them on the exterior, mucking up the black. Yes, this is an interior fabric, but even worse. Now these are good, like, if you're a knitter or crocheter, these will actually be really good for like DPN, so double pointed needles, crochet hooks. Obviously the title is canvas pencil pouch, but we know how that goes as crafters. They can be used for anything you can think of. I just realized, like, paintbrushes, or like if you're working with inks, like little itty bitty bottles of ink would be really cool in there. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I love you too. You guys probably need something, don't you? Do you need some food, or do you need some attention? Probably attention. Let's give them some attention. Hi. Oh, the big purrs. Yeah. You're a big suck right now, hey? Hi. How are you? Actually, I just realized what we can do is we can actually take the other piece of fabric that we have that needs to be cut, and what we'll do is we'll just lay this one on top of it, and that's how we're gonna cut it. Haha, success. Maybe that's what we'll try anyway, and we'll see if it works or not. if it's too much work, if it's too much effort and like too warbly doing the first cut, then we'll just remove it and we'll just do what we were just doing right now. But it's worth a try because that will make it one less have to cut. Ah, what was that? What did you knock over, cat? Now I've got cat hair on my face. Oof. Fluff. Okay. Fold this over again. Ding. Alright, go. Pull it here and here. Actually, probably part of it is it might be a bit dusty as well, so I'm probably shaking off some storage dust because this has been hanging out for a bit because I didn't know what I was going to do with it. Obviously, I figured out what I'm doing with it, but still. Took a while to figure out what was happening. Okay, there. Now, so what we'll do is we'll at least do this to cut the straight lines. Crunchy. Probably should have changed my blade before I did this. Oh, come on. It's probably holding on by like one thread. Really? It really is. Legit. 1, 2. And then a few threads up there. Alright. Well, that was not a smooth cut. Next. Oh dear. Okay, let's try this again. Actually, I wonder if I put pressure down this way, it'd probably cut better. Well, that's what shears are for. Yeah, it's just missing this last layer, so we won't do it for any of the other cuts, but for straight across, this will be fun. And that's the extra 2 pieces that we'll need. We won't need them right now, but we're gonna not cut them because this fabric is a little bit fray prone, actually. I just realized. So we'll only cut what we really need. And then we'll pair those up with the actual like lining piece, like templates that I have. And then we can cut them later when we make more bags. Come on. You're like right there. I see you. There. Ugh. There. That's pretty good. Except for the bottom layer again. Okay. Do you know what? I'm gonna go get a new rotary blade because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to cut through these really easy other then. Okay, so I always keep my old blades in an old blade container. Yeah, that's the old ones. I don't know if these are new or old. I haven't got it marked, so I'm like, and I do have a sharpener, so I will go through and I will sharpen the old blades eventually. But the thing that I really like is it's got this little like magnetic tool, and so I can just like pop the blade onto that, which is nice. Okay. Swap the blade time. There's a bunch of fluff. Plastic dust, I'm not 100% sure. Pop that off. Grab it. Pop the old blade in here. It is definitely looking worse for wear. Alright. Now the dangerous part, and actually we should maybe tidy this up a little bit. It might help. It's like coated in gunk. Oof. Okay. Actually. probably needs like compressed air actually, but whatever. Alright, now the terrifying part. Because these are all oiled, so they stick together. I ended up with 2 blades last time, just like that. Now we're gonna, no, it's not, there's not 2 there anymore. Gonna do that, and then we're gonna pop it through like this. There we go. Turn it over, and then we'll pick up the rest of the blades. And get them back into the case somehow. Ah, damn it. Rotary blades and rotary cutters are no plaything. That's for damn sure. There we go. Okay. It's like the most terrifying part of this job. Yeah, like the one I marked old. Why didn't I mark the other one if it was old or not? I don't get it. Okay, whatever. Now, the other thing is I never remember which direction my this goes on, so we'll figure it out together. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to cup up or cup down, but whatever. Like I said, we'll get there. We'll get there. There we go. No, just definitely supposed to go down. Okay, that's what I thought. Excuse me. Okay, like that. There we go. Okay, that should be better. And hopefully that actually helps me trim up these a little bit easier. I know it's 4 layers. It's a lot to expect this rotary cutter to cut. But at the same time, it should be able to. Yeah, like that. Okay. So that's like the best indication I have that my rotary blade needed to be changed. Okay. Jesus. Okay. Let's do that, and then we're gonna flip this, and we're gonna trim up the bottom to get this gnarly selvage. Like, well, not quite like butter. Darn close though. Okay. Now we're gonna line up all these folds a little bit better. There we go. And we're gonna trim here like that. Yay! And then yes, I'm gonna use the rotary cutter in the corner here. Is it gonna be amazing? No. Is it gonna work? Yes. There we go. Even if I have to trim up a little bit with the scissors. There's no way I can get through this many layers with my shears. I don't have the hand strength to get through this many layers with my shears. So. No. No. Okay, almost. There we go. Okay. And then we can trim up those threads later. Okay. 4 down. One out of however many down. Multiples left. That's okay. Okay. Next one. Let's do it. Ready? Ready. Let's go. Like that. Haha, we did it. Okay, let's. There we go. And then this. Oh, I think that actually worked better. Yes, it did. Look at it. We only have one piece that's like hanging on by a thread instead of 8. Alright, that was way faster. Okay, just make sure these like folds are mostly lined up like that. Then there's 1, 2, 3. So I got 4 more of these to do. And then we can go match. Well, I'll find out if the kids are down to bed or not, and then we can match zippers. Okay. And square it up. Like that. Don't cut towards yourself with the rotary cutter key. that's how you hurt yourself. Of course, it's always afterwards that you realize it too. There is actually a like rotary cutter or like a cutting mat rotary cutter. So basically it's a cutting mat on a Lazy Susan sort of thing. And I've been like eyeing them and being like, having some things those would be very useful for. Because then you can like turn it and then you're not cutting towards yourself. Although there's obviously ways to make sure I'm not cutting towards myself. So we're gonna work a little bit more on that. There we go. Alright, we're just about there. Threads, hanging by threads. Curses. Okay, there we go. And these ones have all had their like that. And here, like this. And the last one. Ding. Alright. 2 more sets to go. And we'll be done. Ugh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trim up. At an angle. What did I listen to finally? Oh, I finally listened to The Secret Life of Addie LaRue. So I've had the book for a while, but it's just, again, jungle gym for the kids. That's fine. It's a stage. I'll miss it when they're bigger, all that. But it's really hard to read a book. Just like it's really hard to knit because they crawl all over you, and then it's just, yeah. Anyway, audiobooks for the win still right now. But I caved, and instead of reading, reading a physical copy of it, I listened to The Secret Life of Addie LaRue, and it was so good. Like, it's actually the first time I've read anything by V.E. Schwab. I know they've written a lot of books, but this is like my first time reading them, and it was so good, so worth the hype. If you haven't read it yet, definitely go in and get it. Read it, listen to it, I don't care. When I talk about reading, I mean either or. However you want to consume the book, but it was so good. Very enjoyable. So, 10 out of 10. I will probably be listening to it again because I'm sure there's stuff I didn't pick up on first listen through. I'll probably also actually like read a physical copy of it with my eyeballs instead of listening to it with my earballs. But yeah, and then the next one was a recommendation I saw of like, if you like The Mummy and like a bunch of these other things that I like the 1999 The Mummy, Brendan Fraser Mummy, then you'll probably like this book. And I can't for the life of me remember the title. I am enjoying it so far, but I can't remember what it's called. So it's just kind of gotten set up. I'm on like chapter 4 or 5? Can't even remember that because I was listening to it while I tidied up on Monday. Yeah, it's been good so far. I will let you know more when I remember the title. It's something like Only the River Knows or something like that. It's like, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, I am... should I wrap up or should I take you with me? We need to go choose zippers. And actually, I'm just wondering if it'd be easier to bring the zippers in here. Yes, because there's no room, and I don't need to move the computer. So let me go grab the zippers that we're going to use for these. I just realized I might not actually have the proper zipper size for this. One second, let me pull out the pattern. And we're going to see. Noodle. Head. Not noodle. Noodlehead. Canvas. Pencil pouch. There it is. Okay, so there's the tutorial. What length of zipper do you recommend? You recommend a 10-inch zipper. And I made some earlier this year. Like, not even earlier this year, like very recently, to be honest. I need the Noodlehead group. And I need to search my posts because I can't remember. There's my group up. Shorter zipper, lighter weight interior canvas. Oh, longer zipper. Just grab one from my zipper drawer. Okay, so I did use a longer zipper. So it's like 10 inches of zipper teeth versus a 10-inch zipper, which gives you 9 inches of zipper teeth. And I did prefer the look of the one with the longer zipper. Okay, so I need to go get... So that means that most of these are going to get a black or gray zipper because that's what we have zipper tape for. Because it looked like the second one I made was probably from the zipper tape. Just looking at the zipper, pull. Okay, one second. Ding. Yes, 100%. That is a zipper tape, zipper pull. Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to do zipper tape. The other thing we could do is we could always use like number 5 zipper, but that is intended for purses. So we'll do the number 3 zipper. We could also grab longer zippers, like a 14-inch zipper from the drawer, which would mean that you would need to come out with me because they are also chaos. What do we have for colors here? Because the thing about this is that most of them are really, really light colored fabrics. So honestly, the 14-inch zippers would probably look the best, especially considering that I'm just wholesale going in with the black. And we're also going to be dark top stitching every single one of these. Now, granted, there are some that will actually need a black zipper. But like this, well, that could use a black zipper too. And that could use a dark gray zipper, and that could use a black zipper. That would look better with a navy zipper. Just like, do I want to use my zip pulls for these? But I can always order more zip pulls pretty easy. Alright, black, gray, and navy it is. I will go grab them. 1 second. Okay, and then I think my noodle of a black zipper is still out there. So we'll do the red and the gray guys first. We need the black zipper. I'm like, I can't cheat on this. Let me go grab the black zipper too if I can find it. managed to find the spaghetti monster of zipper. Yeah. It's like, how are you supposed to like store 200 meters of zipper tape? Please let me know what you think or how I should do this, because this is not it. Oh dear. Okay, so if it calls for a 10-inch zipper and it's 10 inches of teeth, and we're using zipper tape, that means that we can actually use just 10 inches of tape. I'm actually going to grab a piece of lining. I know this isn't perfect because it's like, but it'll be damn close. So it's 22 to 34 minus an inch. So it'll be 33. And then how do they want me to finish it? It looks like it's actually sewn into the corners. Yeah, actually, so it is done to the stoppers, but the problem was my other zippers weren't like long enough. I need like a little, I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Okay, so we're gonna cut a 10-inch zipper and then we're just gonna deal with it. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Cause yeah, there was a little bit extra. Oh, hello. Why did you go away? Okay, it's back on my phone, so I'm not 100% sure what happened there. Let's see if I can show on stream. Hi. Okay, whatever. It's like, you've got emails. It's like, yes, I know I have emails. Okay, man, I wish I had more than just photos of the one that I made. Okay, let's go back onto Facebook. I wish I had it seen in front of me. Oh well. Facebook. Search Noodlehead. Then we need to go down there. Okay, so that's what it looked like. Yeah, and it's like, it's fine. Let's just do it. Okay, so we're gonna cut a 10-inch zipper, 10-inch teeth, which means I do need my cutting tools here. Right. And then we need to figure out what we're cutting for what ones. Okay, so first things first. That's all the exteriors and interiors. Nice thing about not cutting more than one exterior is the fact that it's like, it's not a big deal. It's just zippers. So Sweets Party, because it's a fairly pastel print, but it's got some gray in it, it's going to be charcoal. Red Panda is going to be black. That's just easy. So that pile will be black. This one I'm going to use a red one on because there's actually red in the coffee cups. Black. Sassy Cat is going to be black. Multicolor Hedgehog is going to be dark gray. Alice, because of the color of the illustrations, is going to be dark gray. These little hedgies with the mushrooms are going to be red, actually. I thought they were going to be blue, but I forgot that I had the red zipper, and the red zipper will look amazing. These hedgies are going to be the dark gray. The little micro polar bears with umbrellas is going to be dark gray. These hedgies will be dark gray as well. These hedgies on the navy are going to be red. I know I said I was going to do navy for them, but the red will pick up the mushroom tones in it, and it looks so good. This one is going to be dark gray. Actually, let's do black for this one because of the black exterior. Cuddle Puddle is going to be dark gray. Cactuses, dark gray, because they kind of have a gray tone to this like sage for the big cactuses. Polar Bear Cafe, black. Owls, ooh, black. Cats doing things. charcoal for the sheep. Oh, I just... Oh. Ooh. Uh-oh. I didn't realize it was a directional print for some reason. So, did I cut them out? Well, one's gonna get upside down sheep and one's gonna get right side up sheep. Whoops. Oops. Oh man, how did I manage that? I didn't even think about that with that one apparently, because all the other ones are directional and they're fine. Dark gray. Roosters are going to be black because they're a black background. These sketchy dogs are going to be black as well. Like, yeah, like most of the directional prints I did fine on. Man, I love... So, like, they do... I don't see this silver sparkle very often. You can see him in the middle. He's really shimmery. Little guy in the crown. But man, they do it good. And black for this one because it's a black background. Okay, so the only one I'm not doing is navy. That's okay. So we need, let's start with the black because it's spaghetti monster on top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black zippers. If we're cutting 11 inches, it means we need 110 inches of zipper. So we're going to cut them in sets of, what can I reach if I shuffle stuff around? It looks like I can reach 33 inches really easily. Just shuffle the camera a little bit. This 33 is right here. So that's 3 zippers at 11 inches apiece. So 33, because here's the thing, is that gives me a little bit of leeway for any fray when I'm putting on like poles and all that. So we're gonna do 1, 2, and 3. You don't get to do that. That's nonsense. And then we'll need to do 1 cut of 22, and then we'll cut them down. Should I have just done cuts of 22? 100%, but that's okay. So we're going to do 11 to 33 because that's 22 as well. And then we'll cut it in half. We're going to do a little bit extra because there's a little bit of cat in the middle here. Oh. Okay. Cut this in half. I can cut that out. Awesome. There we go. And then we'll cut this one down. So we can go 44 to 33. And then we're just gonna cheat and just fold this in half. Haha. 40 to 29. Yep, down close. Close enough. Like that. Okay, and then we're gonna do this one. So we can do 11, so 41 to 30. Hi cat, do not jump on that table. It is not stable. Go. And one more time. Just cause we need it. These ones long enough? 41. They're like just short. 10 and a half. 10 and 3/4. I think that'll probably be close enough. Okay, so there's the black ones. Now we need to do. Now I need to figure out what to do with the spaghetti monster, but that is a problem for tomorrow, Katie. Just get out of here. 1, 2, 3. I don't want to see your face right now. Spaghetti monster. But like, seriously, what am I supposed to do with this stuff? Ugh. I don't think that's 33 inches yet. Okay, which one is it? It might be this one. Yeah, there we go. I was smart with the rest of these and I didn't fully untape them, but I still don't know what to do exactly, because it's like, I need to be able to access them easier than that. I know over the summer I kind of talked about doing like electrical reels and then like putting them on my the shelf that I have out there, and I think that's still probably going to be the best option, but it's just like I haven't gotten to it yet, so I don't know. I'll get there. I'll figure it out eventually, but it is one of the things. It's like, I thought storing like pre-cut flat zippers was a pain. This is on another level. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 gray. 12 dark. Those weren't supposed to be navy. Those are supposed to be red. Weren't they? Yeah. Damn it. Bah. Actually, does the navy go with the... If the navy goes with the coffee, we'll just stick with navy, because now they're already cut. The navy goes with the coffee. We're just going to go with the navy and not worry about it. Because the navy goes with both of those hedgehogs. The red goes marginally better, but not enough that I'm worried about it. And now I forgot to count on my dark gray. Also, it does not look very charcoaly dark gray in here. Sorry, that's probably extremely loud on the zipper, or on the microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So we need, this is going to be 3. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, and be enough there, so we should have 12 here. Perfect. Okay, so there's 12. And then we'll install the zipper pulls and everything like that later. Because the first step now is going to be actually sewing the blah-de-blah to the blah-de-blah. We gotta actually assemble the exterior, so that like the black canvas needs to be sewn to the to all these exterior pieces, which will be the next step. But it's also 8:30 and the kids should be in bed by this point, so I guess we'll just keep going until we're done. Good conversation with a customer friend last night. We're brainstorming some. She's got a custom order she wants, but we brainstormed some ideas for cross stitch and embroidery, and I'm super excited. So I'm gonna work on that in the next. I got other stuff I gotta finish up first, and she's not in a huge rush, but I am excited for this because I think it will be really fun. And it will be like, I'm not prototyping a lot for next year, given how much I've added this year. I kind of want to get my processes streamlined, but that doesn't mean there won't be new stuff. I think it will be. There's like one thing I probably should prototype for Otafest, but other than that, I'm pretty set on what I want for my current product lineup. And then we can mostly focus on like the new fabrics instead. Okay, that is that done. We have all the zippers. We have all the exteriors and interiors. We'll need the zipper pulls, but those are out there as well. And yeah, I guess it's just time to move you out to the sewing machine. Actually, it's almost 3 hours and my voice is done. So I am actually going to call it tonight for now. I will probably go work on the sewing a little bit, but I am going to do it off camera. Or at least not talking to the camera. I'll probably record the process. But I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. I am going to try and be on this weekend at least as well. Easiest way to find out is that I will be posting to my Instagram stories. So that is the easiest, like, best way to find out when I'll be online. I hope you guys all have a fantastic night, and I will definitely chat with you all very soon. Thanks so much for joining me.